Gabriel appeared to Mary, I think.
Yeah, and where actually are we?
Oh.
Is it Nazareth
We
still?
are in Nazareth still.
We're still in Nazareth?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, this well's likely to have been the place where Jesus came for water, perhaps played round here as a child. Well, this would be the Byzantine church that's been built on it. This is supposed to be the place of the Annunciation where the angel Gabriel came to Mary. Absolutely beautiful Greek Orthodox church as they go, covered in paintings. So we're here in the fields where the shepherds would have heard from the angels, and looking across to Bethlehem over there. Alright, Brian, so this was the spot where the angels came, a bit of heaven broke through to earth.
It's cold enough to be Christmas today.
Cold enough, yeah, it is a bit chilly.
It's good to understand that God takes the insignificant.
That's right.
There's something wonderful with it.
Can use us whatever we're like.
Yeah, and I'm really encouraged by that.
Yeah. So we're just walking up to Manger Square in Bethlehem, where you'll find the Church of the Nativity. It contains a cave, which is the site of the birthplace of Jesus. See, the gate here to the church has been reduced in size over the years, smaller and smaller, till now it's just this little low door. Okay, we're inside the Church of the Nativity now. It's an ancient Byzantine church. You can see there's a number of incense lamps, burners, just suspended from the ceiling all over the area of the church. There's evidence of crosses, probably from the Crusades. It's the Council of Constantinople with the Fathers of Constantinople underneath. This is the oldest continuously used church in the world.
Since 335 till today.
Wow.
335 till this moment. Continuously.
It's just queuing to go down into the cave where Jesus was born now.
The Lord's place of birth, 3 steps below the manger.
So now going down to see the manger. In a way, it's really kind of difficult to kind of sort of reconcile the difference between the sort of falling out, the bickering, people even fighting over the mops over which bit of the floor they're allowed to clean, and yet Jesus coming as the Prince of Peace, to unite us all as one people.
It's funny, in each place would be the significance of the place and what's been going on around it, what's been built on top of it, what arguments are in place, who owns what. That contrast between the significance of the place and quite what's going on now.
Yeah. Don't know what else to say really, it's just awe-inspiring. Meanwhile, the guy's struggling to get the patio heaters lit over there.
Well, we've all been there.
Yeah. Yeah, it's great to be here.
It's lovely.
Yeah, we're out in the Jordanian desert somewhere.
Very sunny.
Very sunny, lovely.
No snow.
Yeah. Lots of countryside all around, the Jordanian desert, the Jordan mountains or something or other, Trans-Jordanian something comes into it as well.
That's right, and if you look up here, this is the Herodian.
This is the Herodian that we're going to explore now. It's the, is it the resting place or something like that?
The resting place of King Herod.
King Herod the Great.
Yeah.
So we've all got these cool earpieces in now.
With packs.
Yeah. Not for Radio 1 or listening to the football commentary.
Part of the CIA or something.
Yeah. But we're wired in. We can listen to Father Graham directly. Well, something's going through now.
It goes straight into our minds.
Yeah, straight into our minds. In the valley somewhere's the aqueduct built by Herod the Great. Water supplies around here has a particular significance to the choice of this location. Apparently Herod cut off the top of this mountain. So you can see the Dead Sea there in the distance. These mountains over here are likely to have been the area where Moses looked across at the Promised Land from, across the Jordan Valley. Herod was an interesting character, incredibly wealthy, really was kind of hand in glove with the Romans, modelled a lot of his buildings on Roman designs, responsible for a lot of the buildings in Jerusalem. They had a number of palaces around the whole region, and this potentially could have been the location that the Magi, or the wise men, came to.
So basically you've got the Jordan Valley, goes from this bit all the way through the Dead Sea, Jordan River up to the top there. That's the Great Rift Valley that goes all the way down to the Red Sea and all the way down through Africa.
And then down the bottom of the hill in the valley is Herod's swimming pool, which apparently he used to murder anybody he didn't like the look of. We're at the convent of the Sisters of Nazareth. We're going with the sister down into the basement to see some of the original Nazareth archaeological remains.
This may well have been the house of Joseph, but even if it wasn't, and if this still is the first century house, Nazareth was not a big place. Jesus, growing up as a child, would have known this house. He'd have gone past that door, probably gone in. Maybe it was the house of his friends or his house of his neighbours or whatever. So we're actually pretty close here to the place where Jesus was. I first came here about 20 years ago when I first came to Nazareth, and was taken down here and actually found it very, very special. Not that many groups actually come to this site, and I always thought when I come to Nazareth I want to come here because it's a place where you feel you really are quite close to Jesus, or at least the Jesus of history as he grew up. And the other reason is that down below, as you'll see in a moment, is what I think is one of the best examples of a first century coffin tomb, that give you a much better idea of what the tomb of Jesus might have looked like. The Holy Sepulchre originally would have been something like this, on a sort of rock face. You can imagine the rock face like that. But the other thing is this thing here, the rolling stone, and which has a niche in the back, and it's sort of heavy enough so that 2 or 3 hefty men could probably roll it across. They actually do roll this across every now and again, but so heavy that a couple of women coming down on the day might well say, no, blimey, who's going to roll that stone away for us? So when the bodies are in there, they roll the stone across. When someone else dies, they roll it back again, put the body in, or when they go to get the bones for the ossuaries, they can move it.
So this, I believe, was the area that isn't mentioned directly in the Bible, but is probably the area where Jesus worked. And the likelihood is that they were working with kind of stone rather than wood, which unfortunately ruins the joke, carpenter from Nazareth seeks joiners. So this is the location of the city of Sepphoris. There's the main kind of road down the middle. You can see the tracks gouged out of the stone from the wagons that have rolled through here. And who knows, we may be walking on a street that Jesus walked on, and he was going about his trade with his dad Joseph. And when Jesus preached about the city on a hill cannot be hidden, this would be the kind of view that he would have seen. So So here we are at the River Jordan. It looks as though there's a decent amount of water in it as well at the moment. Just thinking Jordan, obviously where John the Baptist baptised Jesus. And also the crossing of the Jordan into the Promised Land.
The Spirit of the Lord is upon me, and He's anointed me to give sight to the blind, heal the broken, and to proclaim the acceptable year of the Lord. And we know that after having read that, he sat down, closed the scroll, and all the people were just looking at him, waiting for what he's about to say.
We're in Cana.
Cana in Galilee.
In Galilee, and I think we're going to now see the first of the two signs in John's Gospel,
Which are
turning water into wine. First one, and the second one, Alan.
The second one. Changing Vickers, and we don't know what the other miracle at Cana was.
Oh, there's the first miracle over there.
Yeah.
It's a souvenir and coffee shop.
Yeah, that's
Who would have thought it?
There we are.
Another vigorous commentary from us.
No, you truly are enlightened by the depth of our insight and knowledge of these places. It really is an education.
But hey, it's a journey, isn't it? All on a journey.
So we've found somebody with a bit more knowledge of these kind of things. It's none other than the Reverend Andy Emerson. Andy, so...
Hello guys, welcome. Yeah, let's get this right.
So,
titles. It's all about titles.
So the second miracle in Cana, just enlighten us.
Second miracle in Cana. Some Roman official's son who was dying, and he came to Jesus in Cana, and Jesus said, don't worry, basically your son is healed. He starts walking home, meets his officials coming the other way, and works out it was exactly the time he met Jesus and his son started getting better.
Right, so
technically did the miracle happen in Cana?
No, definitely technically it didn't.
No, the miracle wasn't actually in Cana.
No,
which
just
probably
associated with Cana.
Which probably accounts for why Kia and I couldn't really think what it was, because we would never have thought of that one. Yeah.
We'd think too technically, Alan. That's our problem.
This is a 4th century mosaic.
Exactly. Everything.
That mentions that this is the site of the church of Joseph, Joseph of Cana.
Are those TNT?
So we're going to explore the town of Capernaum and...
Town?
What?
Is it a town?
Do we know anything? Do we know anything at all?
Could be a village. Could be a hamlet.
It could be.
It's definitely not a city. It is a town.
Yeah, there is evidence, if we need it, that it is Capernaum, the town of Jesus.
All kinds of events happened in this place. As you look out over these ruins here, these are ruins of 1st century Capernaum, and I often like to look at these ruins and think, I wonder which one was the house where the guy was let through the roof. We've heard that story so many times, and it happened here. The story of Jairus' daughter probably happened here. The healing of Peter, Simon Peter's mother-in-law happened here. We'll go down there in a moment and see the house that, in all likelihood, is Simon Peter's house, the house in which Jesus based himself. Jesus choosing Capernaum is significant, because it's as if he looks around and he says, where am I going to locate my ministry from? So he locates his ministry right in the very heart of real activity, real business. And if you want to launch a new message about the kingdom of God, a new interpretation of the law, a new vision of what God is about to do in his land and in his people on his earth, where better to do it than in a place where the whole world travels through? So Capernaum in the 1st century had a really international feel to it. This is not just Galilee of the Gentiles, but this was the place through which the world came, from up north, Syria, Mesopotamia, down to Egypt, Africa. People travelling through all the time. So anyone who caught Jesus' message here would travel up down that way, or they'd travel back up this way. It's an ideal place in which to locate a ministry where you're about to preach a new message of the kingdom of God.
So the location is called the Mount of the Beatitudes, and because there's no evidence, no proof where the Sermon on the Mount actually took place. In Matthew it was on a mount, in Luke it was on a plain, but this is a mound. It's not far from Capernaum. It's on the banks of Lake Galilee, and it's as good a place as any, I suppose, or something like that. So that's where this church has been built. Blessed are the poor in spirit, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven.
Blessed are those who mourn, for they will be comforted.
Blessed are the meek, for they will inherit the earth.
Blessed are those who hunger and thirst for righteousness, for they will be filled.
Blessed are the merciful, for they will be shown mercy.
Blessed are the pure in heart, for they will see God.
Blessed are the peacemakers, for they will be called sons of God.
Blessed are those who are persecuted because of righteousness,
for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. St Martha, St Lazarus, and St Mary. So in the church here we've got these pictures depicting various events at Bethany. There is obviously Jesus raising Lazarus from the dead. Over here you've got Jesus being anointed with the fantastic perfume nard. House at Bethany. There's Jesus at the house with Mary and Martha. And then finally you've got the resurrected Jesus arriving in this area. The sign up there makes it quite clear that Lazarus' tomb
is up there.
Is up there. So let's go and have a look. Get your Lazarus tomb spices and herbs, and other spices and herbs.
Here we are at Lazarus's tomb, and people are going in, but no one's come out yet. There's a sign. Was that there? Has that always been there? That sign?
I don't think it was down there.
Not on the day.
Lazarus' day.
Not on the day. Would have been useful.
Came afterwards. You've risen. You've risen from the dead. Lazarus' tomb.
Which is what the tomb was. Yeah, that would be the theory. Okay.
Here's Alan coming out of the tomb.
I'm rising from the dead.
Here he is, rising from the dead. Alan, come out.
Hey, I'm alive. Place. That is the Kidron Valley. Okay, we're getting bombarded by the locals here. Snow rolled over.
We're the northerners, they get
Let's go inside.
This is the spot here where Jesus famously had a snowball fight and won.
Get an idea how much is snowing rather than Raleigh. This is the Paternoster Church on the Mount of Olives. On the Mount of Olives. Yeah. Paternoster Church, Mount of Olives. In the snow. Not an olive to be seen. So we're under the church of the Paternoster, and this is the spot where Jesus is said to have ascended from, which is rather strange because it's in a cave and you think he would have been out in the open when he ascended. So what you've got around here is this is the site, Mount of Olives, where Jesus taught us to pray the Lord's Prayer. So you've got the Lord's Prayer, loads of different languages.
Many.
On these plaques, about 64
Looks like a tree.
different languages.
And they worship in Aramaic, the language of Jesus. If you want to hear the Lord's Prayer, the way that Jesus would have said it.
Yes, sir.
Would you like to hear?
Yeah.
Lord's Prayer in Aramaic.
باسم أبو وبرو روحو قديشو حدا له شريرو أمين نتقى داش شمو تيثي ملكوثو نيوي سبيونو أي كانوا بشمايو أو برعو هبلان لحمو سمقولان يومونو وشبوقلان حوبان وحتو هاي أي كانوا دوفعلان شباقي حايو باين لو تعلى نسيونو إيلو فاصولان من بيشو ميطول ديلوخي ملكوثو حايلو تشبحتو العولم علمين أمين.
Amen.
Amen. Thank you.
Amen.
So our church over there, you see?
The church over there.
The Arabic language who
Across
speaks
it
is
there.
the Arabic language and the Hebrew language it is taken from the Arabic language.
So
we are
Syrian
the
church
original. You
who
can take blessing
worship
from
in Aramaic. Jesus' language.
5 minutes the bus will be here. Let's go to the...
He's Coptic, yeah?
Coptic.
And Syrian. But we are
Coptic
close
and
to each
Syrian.
other.
We are one
Together.
church.
Yes, one
One
church.
church.
Very good.
Mia
You're
Fusi.
in fellowship. You're both Mia Fizai.
We are Mia Fasa.
Very good.
So this walk, what's this walk known as, Andy? Do you remember?
This is the Palm Sunday route.
Palm Sunday
As
route.
close as they can tell.
Yeah.
So it would have been the route he took in from, because he'd originally come from Bethany and Bethpage or whatever.
Yeah.
So he got the donkey and then
Yeah.
down here from Mount Olives.
And they walked down here.
Down into Jerusalem.
Don't think Jesus had this trouble when he was coming on the colt. No shorts in here today.
That's the temple.
Temple wall straight ahead.
Temple walls. Church, the Dome of the Rock here. We've got Al-Aqsa Mosque over here.
Hello everybody! Give us a wave! Well, here I am sat on the temple steps. Actual place where Jesus would have walked. One of the few places in the world, in Jerusalem, where we can be sure Jesus actually walked up these steps. It's an amazing feeling to get that connection with the human God. Imagine Jesus coming down from the Mount of Olives and walking along, coming up the temple steps here.
In Aramaic, which means stand, be awake, and pray. Because I think it's the place where he felt lonely at the Garden of Gethsemane. This is also the place where he was betrayed by his own disciples.
And how easy it would have been for Jesus just to escape. It would have been very, very easy. The place was full of pilgrims. He could have very easily mingled with the crowd. And you sense that real choice that goes on here in the Garden of Gethsemane. Does he go that way, back into the city, to face certain death? Or does he go that way, to rescue himself, to avoid death, to avoid the awful thing that's about to happen? And there's that choice. You get that sense here. There's that choice that Jesus had, that way or that way. That's the choice that he had.
So that tree there was planted in 1964 by Pope Paul VI. This tree over here, apparently they've dated the roots from this tree over 2,800 years old.
During the Crusader period, to encourage the pilgrims coming from Europe visiting the place, they built the platform that we shall see, and they've allowed them to pray at the place of the crucifixion. All right, shall we go, please?
Good. So it's often quite a special moment to go and pray. So you might want to take a few minutes just to pause there, as many Christians do day after day here in this place and all over the world, coming to pray specifically at the very place where Jesus died.
What are your thoughts on going to the location of the cross then, Dave?
It's
strange, isn't it? Brian had a good observation.
Tell what your observation was when you were watching. I was struck by the fact that it was a place where he was completely alone and forsaken by everybody.
Yeah.
And yet now we return to that place. We want to reach out and connect with that very same place in which he was so much on his own. And it's now so popular and so full of people.
This crack here in the rock beneath it is evidence of an earthquake that happened around Jesus' time. And this is known as the Rock of Humiliation.
This is the site of the tomb of Jesus, which is covered over with this thing called a cottage, in whatever the word is for it.
Yeah.
It's built by Queen Helena, and inside there's a fragment of the stone that's over the grave, apparently, and some part of the slab that's in there. Part of the slab is covered over with marble, so you can't nick the stones.
We're now on our way to the Sea of Galilee to see the actual place where Jesus appeared in his resurrection body to the disciples and ate breakfast with them. What did he eat, Alan?
They ate broiled fish here.
Broiled
fish. Sounds delicious.
When they had finished eating, Jesus said to Simon Peter, "Simon, son of John, do you truly love me more than these?" "Yes, Lord," he said, "you know that I love you." Jesus said, "Feed my lambs." Again Jesus said, "Simon of John, do you truly love me?" He answered, "Yes, Lord, you know that I love you." Jesus said, "Take care of my sheep." The third time he said to him, "Simon, son of John, do you truly love me?" Peter was hurt because Jesus had asked him the third time, "Do you love me?" He said, "Lord, you know all things. You know that I love you." Jesus said, "Feed my sheep."